friends. Welcome to Ask Dr. Betters. I'm Danielle, and I'm here with my granddad, Dr. Chuck F. Betters. We are currently in the middle of a series called Deconstructing One's Faith. Today, we are addressing question number 3. Granddad, here you come. I grew up as a church kid. My parents were leaders in the church. The church was like a second family. But as an adult, I'm seeing how mean church people are, how they use people, and think nothing of betraying people like my parents. I can't stand going to church. I have such anger and bitterness. I don't want to be like this, but I can't let go of the hurt. Help!
Wow. In this series on deconstruction, we are dealing with young people, maybe not so young, maybe in their 20s or 30s, who are walking away from what they have been taught ever since they were little children. And I want to remind you of where we've been in this series. We call this deconstructing their faith. They're actually either hurt by something, as we just heard, or they've been influenced by somebody, or they read something, or a good friend or somebody they love and care for has raised questions for them that they now begin to raise very seriously for themselves. And in this series, we've looked at a few things. First of all, God has a purpose. He saves through a process. We make way too much out of a dramatic conversion or a childhood conversion, which may very well be only the first step in a whole birth line of steps where God brings somebody to a mature faith. Now, I'm not negating the fact that there is such a thing as a dramatic conversion. There certainly is. But the norm is that God saves through a process. It's outlined for us in Romans chapter 8, beginning with verse 28, where it says, "We know that those who love God, all things work together for their good, for those who are called according to his purpose. For those whom he foreknew," here's the purpose, here's the birth line, "those whom he foreknew, he predestined. Those whom he predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, he also called. Those whom he called, he justified. And those whom he justified, he also glorified." There's the process. He foreknew, he predestined, he called, he justified, he glorified. That's the process by which God saves. And I call that the spiritual birth line, that God saves according to that process in a series of events and circumstances, including when and where we deconstruct our faith. That God is bringing us to a mature understanding so that you own for yourself salvation. No, let me say that again. So that you embrace for yourself salvation, not because your parents did, not because your grandparents did, but because you did. You embraced it for yourself. That's why I say God doesn't have any grandchildren, just children. Well, what causes them to deconstruct? Oftentimes it's church conflict. Oftentimes it's pain in the church. We watch our parents go through horrific pain. Friends, I gotta tell you, please understand me when I say this. Christians are the greatest people in the world to be around at times. But sometimes they are the worst people in the world to be around. They can cause horrific pain. And some of the greatest hurt that I personally have ever experienced has come from church people. As much as we try to protect our children from all of this, they see it. They hear it. They listen to those middle of the night conversations. They hear the whispering. They listen to the scuttlebutt. They watch the heads wagging. They see all of that. And over the course of time, it eats away at them. But friends, what is our alternative? These are our people. This is our family. These are our loved ones. These are the people that we form relationships with. These are the people we trust. These are the people we believe in. These are the people we love. And our kids get hurt when they see us hurt. When we drag them into the midst of the conflicts, when we refuse to settle conflicts the right way, when we refuse to resolve conflicts the right way by living among our brothers and sisters with peace, inasmuch as it depends on us with all men. They watch this, and over the course of time, they grow defensive and even begin to deconstruct their faith. They begin to walk away. They begin to say things like, I don't want to go to church anymore. I don't like these people. I don't like the way they're treating my mom or my dad or my pastor or my loved one or my leaders in the church or how they're treating each other. And friends, that's when we are put to our greatest of all tests. Who do we judge the church by? People with whom we have conflict, or the Christ who is the head of the body? What fault do we find in him? What sin do we find in him? Where has he failed us? Where has he hurt us? What does he say? Come unto me, all you who labor and are heavy laden. And may I suggest, there's no greater labor, there's no greater way to be heavy laden than to be laden down with church conflict. It eats at us. It tears us apart. He says, come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest, peace, resolution. Come to Christ. If you're deconstructing your faith because you're looking to others who have hurt you, friends, may I suggest that you are bordering on sin yourself? You're bordering on harboring sin and conflict and bitterness in your heart, which Hebrews 12 tells us defiles us. Bitterness defiles us. Are you getting defiled? If so, maybe it's by choice, by taking sides in conflicts rather than being the peacemaker, looking for resolution, encouraging those who are in conflict to do the right things, to say the right things, to act the right way. You see, you're bordering on sin yourself. And that's not going to help you reconstruct your faith. That will only help you despair more. That's exactly what Satan wants you to do. Enter into conflict. Enter into severe conflict with your brothers and sisters. Go after each other. Fight each other. That's what he wants. That's what he desires. And you fall right into that trap when you allow church conflict and bitterness to defile you. I want to tell you something. This is not easy. It is very hard. I am speaking from firsthand experience. I know conflict in the church very well. Way more than I care to know it. I've been hurt. I've been crushed by people in the church who have despised everything I stand for. These are people who are my friends. These are people who walk on the other side of the street now so that they don't have to cross the same way with me. I know that pain. I've experienced that pain. Do you know what I've learned about it? It pushes me to understand what intimacy with Christ really is supposed to look like. Jesus felt this same thing, didn't he? Didn't he go through the very same thing with the people closest to him? He had 12 apostles. How many walked away from him? 11 of them. Only one went to the foot of the cross with him. Only one. One was hanging on the end of the rope. One was denying he even knew him. Others were walking away out of fear, denying that they even knew him, fearing for their own lives. Only one went to the foot of the cross with him. He knew this pain. He knows this heartbreak. And you know, when I watch, because it becomes with social media today, it becomes public information for everyone. It's on social media everywhere. Are causing others to walk away from their faith because they refuse to resolve their conflicts biblically. So my encouragement to you, friend, is to look to the Christ who's drawing you to himself into a deeper intimacy and using even church conflict to do it, to show you what it's like to feel the cup of suffering that he felt. Stay with me through these questions because they are going to help you to understand exactly what it's like to reconstruct what's been deconstructed in your faith. Danielle, what's the next question we're going to learn?
Absolutely. The next question of this series is, I was homeschooled and involved in the local church. Considered a good kid, during the pandemic, I was isolated and lonely, and I discovered a whole other world of beliefs. I questioned everything about God. Our world is so messed up. So many terrible things happen, including friends who have died from drugs, and one even committed suicide. You say God is sovereign and I can trust him, but how can I trust a God who doesn't stop pain? Sometimes I wonder if there even is a God.
It's no wonder when we look around us and we see the pain and the suffering, it's natural to question, where is God? We're going to address this the next time we're together because for so many of you, you have entered into a deconstruction of your faith because you've seen so much suffering around you. So much of it is so much more visible today. So the next time we're together, we'll address this as we address the topic of the deconstruction of your faith. Hope this helps.